Ever go through a period where you don't hear God? He's quiet. Sometimes through very hard times, through some storms that we go through in life, and you don't hear him. But the crazy part, for me at least, is some of the hardest times I've went through, I didn't hear God for long periods. But I knew he was with me and I knew he was working. And it's crazy to have faith. That God gives us faith if we turn to him and we trust him and we ask him for help. Sometimes he lets us go through a period, a chapter in life, and they say, oh, you'll be stronger when you come out of it, and it's all for a reason, and there's lessons to be learned, and I believe that's true. Some of these things I've went through, especially the last few years, wow, I've learned a lot. I'm totally different, and my belief and my faith is crazy strong, and yeah, it's cool. So I'm yeah, here in Costa Rica, trusting God. Trusting God. Moved here, sold everything, not knowing what he had planned for us, but knowing that this is where we're supposed to be, and he had work for us to do here. And yeah, it's not cheap to live here. I thought it was a lot cheaper. I have a small pension. My wife works part time. Yeah, it's expensive to eat. A pack of Nathan's hot dogs is like $15. Yeah, learning to buy local. You buy Costa Rican. Anything imported, very expensive. And yeah, it's through all of this though, and when we're wondering how we're going to do this, how things are going to come together, how we're going to help people. I didn't hear God. There were some long periods that I didn't hear God, and as you get closer to God, the enemy comes after you. I was told that if you're going to do ministry work, do mission work, be ready, because the enemy will attack you. And nothing special. There's nothing special about me, but I answered a calling, and I could be of help to some people here. We are helping some people here. I could relate to these men in the recovery house, and these children are just need love and food, and so the enemy, Satan, comes after you when you're a threat to him. When you're doing good in God's work, he's going to come after you. He's going to talk. And yeah, I think I mentioned it before, but we a lot of times hear that enemy. We hear the negative. Those are the things that run through our head, and we don't hear God. And I had a time a few weeks ago. My wife was gone back in the States, and I was here alone, just me and my dog, Buddy. He's a good dog, came from the island, but I was being attacked. Doubt was flooding me, and what are you doing? And you're not ministry material. You're not a missionary. You don't know what you're doing. No one supports you. All that stuff. And it went on for days and days, and I finally hit my knees, and I just said, God, help me. Help me. And I was focusing on the negative, the enemy. He'll whisper to you. It's, for me, I need to focus on the blessings. We are making a difference. These men, it's crazy. I love them. We've got a relationship with them. These kids are so excited when we come see them. We're feeding them. We paid some rent at Casa a few months. And yeah, but it was like an eye-opener when I hit my knees that day, and then I just took a walk. I sit in the house and think, and gotta find some remote work, gotta do this, gotta do that, have to fix this, help the men, help the kids, and in the meantime, I'm sitting, and then the days go by. So I hit my knees that day, and God sometimes just kind of smacks me on the head and goes, "You're blessed. You're focusing on the enemy instead of focusing on me." And when I called out for help, it's like he shook me. I went for a walk. I walked for miles. I don't walk much. I walked for 3 hours, a few days in a row, and just put on Christian music and just talk to God. And I'm walking through the jungle and the mountains. It's cool, but yeah, sometimes we don't hear him, through these hard times. I always know he's with me. I trust him. And yeah, we went to Costa Rica yesterday, and my wife and I, and the enemy, we got there late. My wife wants to make necklaces and bracelets with the guys with shells and beads, and we couldn't find a cord, and we got there late, and it's like the enemy's trying to stall you, and yeah, just come in the way of you coming to see these men are doing good things. And we got there, and we did a little Bible study with them, and I have someone there interpreting, and they're reading in Spanish, and we have some questions. The Bible study is related to recovery, so it's cool, and these guys interact with us. And started doing the crafts, and my wife puts on some music. I'm grateful for her. She's involved, and these men love us. And I had one of the guys tell me yesterday, he said, "Thank you, that most people don't give men like us any attention, and thank you for what you do." And it hit me, and he pointed to a guy across the table who, he said he was sad all day, and he's happy now that you and your wife are here with us. And I'm not doing any of this for gratification or to say, look what I'm doing. God called me here, and it's kind of scary. But it's cool when those moments when God taps me and says you are making a difference. And, there was a young guy there, Hansel. He came up to me my first day I met him, and he just stood in front of me and looked at me and just looked in my eyes. He had 2 black eyes. He's 17. And I can't even speak his language, but he almost left a couple times. I got there yesterday, and I just hug Hansel, and I tell him, I love you. You're doing good. How are you today? Are you good? And he says, yes. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing. And but we had a hard day yesterday. There's a lot of worry. It's just life. Life here. We're in another country, away from family. Just a lot of things. They all compound. But going there yesterday, and seeing these guys happy. One of the counselors came over and called me out, brought me to the intake room. They were checking in a new man, and he was a guy who spoke English, and there was a guy there who I'd never met, and he said, "You're Brian." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I've heard about you. I go to the AA meeting in town, and I thought you heard about me. Why'd you hear about me?" And he said, "Just people talked about what you're doing." Went to the AA meeting this morning. I haven't been to an AA meeting in probably 8 years. I don't know. I'm not understood sometimes at Bible study. I don't think I was understood at this AA meeting. Sorry, I'm almost 60, but there was some old guys there, and I'm a wild card. I'm all over. They're looking at me like, here's this freaking guy. He's kind of 30 years sober, and he's all over the place. But it was good to go there today. But I talked to this guy yesterday, and who they were bringing in, and he was scared. He was pulling drugs out of his pocket. He'd been sober 10 years, and he's back. He started just taking pain medicine. And I hugged him, and I told him, "You're in the right place. There's a different way." And I don't know, I left there just, wow, we are doing something. something. God's doing something. We're not doing anything. I ask God to use me as a vessel to show the world. For me, a year ago, I was posting political stuff, social media. My stuff's all Jesus now and God. I asked God to remove the world from me, to focus on Him, and He's done that. And I just want to scream to the world, nothing is of me. This is all God's work. And I'm a miracle. And these men, it's awesome. And I connected, sincerely care. And I got home last night, and I'm thinking, sometimes I don't feel the support. We've sponsored little kids in Africa and World Vision, and we always have given. And, I thought more people were like that. And not, nothing against anyone, but I'd see something in church, we'd contribute to it, And it's not the case. It's not that easy to get support, and I see these people, and you want to scream, man, they need help. This isn't America. They're poor here. This is real poverty. And the people that have supported, thank you. I have people that give me $10 a month. That means more than someone that gives me $100, because I know this woman, and Donna, thank you. But it was a hard day yesterday, just emotional roller coaster, and but I know God's with us. And I got home and kind of made a Facebook post. Sometimes I do that. I just rant and I say, what are you doing, people, to really help? If you don't help me, help someone on the street, give them a sandwich, do something. And I deleted it this morning. I do that sometimes, but I just, at 11:30 at night, a donation came in for $5,000. It's awesome. We can do so much with that, and I wake up, I wanted to go wake my wife up and shake her. But that's God. God came through and provided some funds. There wasn't a lot in the account. You walk through and I want to do this and fix that and feed this and do this. And, so I have to slow down and just go, God, help me. And that's what I did yesterday. I said, God, I need help. And then look what He did. It's cool. Thank you, God. He works miracles when we surrender and trust Him. And it's cool. And glad I went to an AA meeting today. I'm gonna go back. The guy I met there yesterday. I don't know. God puts people in our path for a reason. What He heard about me, or what it makes you feel like. Sometimes I think, what am I doing? I'm not making a difference. I moved here, and it's just, it's the enemy talking. Sometimes you have to just say, shut up, Satan. You got no power. You're just trying to. He knows our weaknesses. He knows our doubts. He knows our fears. But God knows what He can do if we trust Him. Yeah, I'll just share. I'm honest. I put on, when I was feeling called to Costa Rica, I got a VR headset and I was looking at pictures of Costa Rica. A lot of them beautiful. And I clicked on one of a sunset, and it was Akko. And I heard God say, what if this is where I have works for you? I will bless you beyond your wildest dreams. And I started crying. And there's little moments like that happen that told me Costa Rica is where you're supposed to be. And God spoke to me, not a lot of times, but I'm share that later. He spoke to me, and it makes me feel like, see, you are with me, God. You spoke to me. The creator of the world spoke to me. It's cool. It's amazing. Some of these tears aren't sad. It's like the Spirit hits me, and it's just gratitude. And gratitude, what God can do. And blessings. It's not about blessings. Monetary. It's not about money blessings. It's not about, I want our needs. I don't be able to pay our bills. I don't run the air. I'd like to be able to turn the air on sometimes. It's expensive. But I want our needs to be met. And I know God will provide that, and I'm looking at some alternative methods, but it's trusting Him through times that are hard. look what he did last night. You know, I'm gonna call this man today and go, just tell him thank you. You know, thank you. You know, there's things we can do, and just a little bit, a little donations go so long here. They're so poor, and they got such a good spirit. They're grateful. You know, they're grateful. I walked into Costa the first time, not a fridge working, not a stove working, holes in the walls, and they're cooking over open fire. And one of the guys told me, God provides. We're grateful for what we have. You know, we're like, wow, humbled. And yeah, American, we're spoiled. Take a lot of things for granted in America. It's humbling when you see, you know, real poverty, but their spirit's strong, and it's cool. So yeah, I'm grateful today. I'm grateful for hearing God, for Him talking to me, for trusting Him through the hard times. Grateful for this man. I don't even know who he is. Gave $5,000. These men at Casa, you walk in and they feel loved. You know, they just want, and I was them. I was there. I remember that first day in rehab being scared. So it's cool. I could relate, and you know, I hope and pray for all of them. But Casa de Amor is changing lives. My ministry again is Cross to the Mountain Ministries. There'll be a link down below if you want to support, you want to help. I'm going to be posting stuff, sharing them, what we're doing, you know, what's happening there, and yeah, God's working in Costa Rica, and He's making a difference, and we're making a difference, even though sometimes they don't feel like it. God's with us. God shows us. Last night, 11:30 at night, donation came in. I was like, wow, God is good. God provides. So, yeah, check out my website. There's a link to it down below. See a little more about these guys and these kids, and you know, coming in my mind is, you know, sometimes you just gotta trust God. You know, I keep hearing trust God, bro. So, trust God, bro. Yeah. Check out our website. Check out our ministry. See what we're doing in Costa Rica.